Some people are less compassionate than animals. Orphaned hedgehogs were adopted by this mother cat. You'll be shocked by what they did to her afterward. Cody was shocked by what he saw. Amidst fragments of concrete, a mother cat and her little kittens were dozing. They were in danger, and it was not a safe place for them to live. Cody was on a huge construction site. An industrial building had been demolished, and the rubble was being cleaned up before construction could resume. He was shocked to learn that the cat and her babies were residing there. Since Cody loved animals so much, he would not want to witness any harm to them. Even though the structure had already been damaged when his team arrived, he was determined to aid them in any way he could. Although they were residing in trailers near the construction site, he would have brought them home immediately. He would be gone for months, and his home was hours away. Since the location was outside of town and there were still some predators around, he didn't want to send them too far. His desire was to assist them. He purchased a secure container for them to dwell in, as well as some cat food from the nearby store. The small family then had to be moved. Cody fed the feral cats for a few days before attempting to get close to them, even though they aren't exactly known for being peaceful and cooperative. He began with her children rather than attempting to pick up the mother. He transported the 3 of them to the house he had built for them, which was sufficiently removed from the construction site. Although the mother was upset that he was handling her kittens, she followed him as he had intended while he was holding them. To make her feel at home, he put them in their new house and fed her. She adapted fast, and ultimately she even stopped being jittery when people passed by. Everyone on the crew began to show concern and attention for the cat family. However, something that would make them even more unique was about to happen. Cody was summoned to a terrible scene shortly after the kittens and their mother moved into their new apartment. A mound of rubble shifted and toppled after they had moved some of the larger pieces. They were all upset and startled as they picked up some of the fragments. They discovered a hedgehog crushed in the debris underneath. The hedgehog may have been hidden from view because she was little, but they had attempted to look for any other creatures residing on the property. They began clearing the remaining trash with care. They were mistaken in their desire to ensure that there were no further shocks in store for them. They were about to receive the greatest surprise of all within an opening. The cat they had rescued shared a trait with the hedgehog that perished. She was a mother as well. Little babies were hiding inside her. Cody and the other crew members took a closer look. Even the hoglet's spines were still soft, and they were all quite little. They had doubts about the infant's survival. Then they began to move. Although it was a huge relief, it didn't last long. They were alive, which was wonderful, but how would they take care of them? They considered arranging for a wildlife rescue to visit and examine the infants. However, something startling occurred before they did. Someone else knew exactly what to do while they were all arguing and trying to figure out how to take care of the hedgehogs. They were all staring at the babies as the mother cat approached. She wanted to see what the hubbub was about, but she seldom ever left her kittens. After smelling them, she took an incredibly unexpected action. She lifted them up one by one and carried them to their bed and her own litter. The mother cat joined the babies in bed after they were all in one location. At that point, something occurred that completely stunned them. She began feeding her newly adopted hedgehog pups in addition to her own kittens. Apparently, she had made up her mind to take those orphaned babies as her own. Long-term care for them, however, was going to be challenging. As the infants developed, they all got more playful. They would play with their siblings and climb all over their mother. With the exception of the minor issue that half of the infants were altering as they developed, everything was fantastic. Adult quills, which were more tougher and more spiky than kitten fur, were being given to the hedgehogs. Their adopted mother nonetheless gave in to their need to breastfeed. Their quills occasionally sank into her skin during nursing, leaving behind microscopic bloodstains. However, she nursed them until they were old enough to be weaned since she was a loving mother. The mother and all of her mismatched babies playing in the sun was one of the crew's favorite moments of the day, despite their hard labor. The hedgehogs also adjusted to the cat family's schedule, which was odd. They didn't appear to be aware that hedgehogs often sleep throughout the day. They now maintained the same hours as the kittens since they wanted to play at the same time as their mother and siblings. During the day, they just took naps. The project was moving very swiftly, and they were all maturing so rapidly. The creatures had been discovered a few months prior, and they were all acclimating to human contact. But whether they were kittens or hedgehogs, they all stayed totally loyal to their mother. Cody concluded that it may be the ideal moment to bring the cat and her offspring to his house. Although he resided on a family farm, he also worked on construction during slow periods. He made the decision to move the entire family to his property so they could all live there forever. He had instructed his family to prepare for the arrival of a few additional members and had a plan in place for safely transporting them all. He wished to provide them all with a secure home where they could continue to live together as a family. However, something was about to occur that would completely alter his plan before he could put it into action. For the majority of the day, Cody, the foreman on the construction site, was extremely busy. In addition to spending time with the animals later in the day, he would feed them in the morning. As the mother cat began to trust him, all of her offspring did the same. It's quite likely that her children would trust her if she did. He was perched on some scaffolding one day. They were preparing to begin reconstruction. It was then that he heard a call. It was impossible to just leap off since they were both too high up. Cody was yelled at by his contractor, who asked him if he was establishing a zoo on their construction site. A dog had strayed onto the construction site. He was most likely a stray seeking food because there weren't many people in the vicinity. Cody stood over him, observing him. During his break, he intended to go down and feed the dog, but things rapidly got out of hand. The dog proceeded to the corner of the property where all of their trailers were parked. Cody heard a huge disturbance as he was engaged measuring. The dog had found the mother cat and was howling at her in a rage. He even tried to bite her by lunging forward. However, at that moment, an odd event occurred. After adopting the orphaned hedgehogs, the mother, who had always shielded her children, continued to do so. You'll be shocked by what they did now, though. Cody hastily descended to assist the cat mother, but unexpectedly, her hedgehog offspring stood in the between of her and the dog. He got hit by hedgehog quills when he attempted to bite her. He didn't like it and didn't know what it was. When Cody showed there and chased him away, he tried to bite again. Later, the dog would be adopted by another crew member who would assist him in overcoming the trauma he had experienced from living on the streets. However, Cody was able to bring the cat and her offspring home. He made a separate house for the hedgehogs, but they were free to visit frequently. And they did. The cat mom never had to worry about danger since her spined pups were there to take care of her. Thank you for viewing. Come back for many more amazing tales.